can't even show your face.
No, I'm smart.
You're smart because you're out here breaking the law and you don't want to show your face.
Because the state will target me, the state won't target a fascist like you.
That's funny because if you look at the actual facts, this government is targeting conservatives like me and they're giving preferential treatment to you.
The whole police propaganda was because the anarchists are going to fuck yourself. You're not even oppressed.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. What do you know about me to say I'm not oppressed?
You're not. You said
How do you know?
Because I'm a
How do you know?
You're white, number one.
Oh, I'm white, so I'm not impressed. I'm not oppressed. Okay, so are you oppressed then?
I'm part Mexican, so yeah, more than you.
Oh, okay, so that's not racist though. Just because you identify with something,
you can actually
say
get
you have a
special
different,
grants
you
to
have
go
a
to
different
college
view.
because of your descent.
So wait, the veritable fact is now racist.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What are you guys protesting?
I'm protesting. Yeah.
Why don't you leave? Leave.
So we should leave. Why don't we take it? Why don't we take it? This is a legal occupation.
Hold on, so wait, so you're protesting America. Yep. Okay, why don't you go back to Mexico then?
No.
Why?
If you don't like a place,
Because they don't want to leave because this is the greatest country in the world. They don't want to leave because this is the greatest country in the world.
And the word of the day is privilege.
What's that all about?
We'll show you. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. When you walk into a room and mostly everybody's white, privilege. When you make out with your partner and it's totally alright, privilege. When you need a pill and you don't get no shit from the far right, privilege. Oh, privilege. We've learned to ignore it. Our invisible knapsack is where we store it. Privilege. Though many folks have fought it, if you're white, male, or hetero, you probably got it. When your friends all plan a trip and it's a thing you can't afford, privilege. When you're in your history class and see old pale dudes on the board, privilege. See a label made in China, oh that's easy to ignore, privilege. Oh, privilege. We've learned to ignore it. Our invisible knapsack is where we store it. Privilege. Though many folks have fought it, if you're white, male, or hetero, you probably got it. Now, some of you may be thinking this does not apply to me. Although I'm white, male, able-bodied, I still fight for equality. I wear Tom's shoes, meditate, and I go to yoga twice a week. But no matter what you do, you come from a very, very long lineage of oppressors who stepped on non-white male people to gain ultimate power, and you should never stop feeling guilty. But just being guilty doesn't help the situation.
It's all about awareness, and we need to keep each other in check and call each other out when we aren't recognizing that we're at an advantage.
Hey, isn't the fact that we're two white women with the privilege to make videos about feminism an example of privilege?
Yep.
Check your privilege, 'cause you can't ignore it. Your invisible knapsack is where you store it. Privilege. Though many folks have fought it, if you're too white feminist, you probably got it. Privilege. Privilege. Check it.
I apologize. I said excuse me.
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down.
To let you on the mic. Okay. All right, so we are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable. We're gonna let you on the mic. We are gonna give you the mic. We Very well. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders.
How to be a gamer girl in 4 easy steps. 1. Choose a gender-neutral or masculine username for your online identity. The hordes of cisgender, heterosexual, and mostly white men you'll be gaming with are incredibly sensitive to the possibility of a female within their midst and are more likely to consider you part of the scenery than a peer on the battlefield. If you started gaming when you were young, naive, and starry-eyed, and have the misfortune of an unchangeable feminine username like Jigglypuff Sparkle Fairy, prepare your defenses ahead of time. At the first question of your gender, tell them you are a lesbian, because in gamer jargon, lesbian is synonymous with man, and there's no room to be feminine here. 2. Become an expert in everything. Complete every side quest, earn every achievement, be prepared for any reference or joke, because if you're not, fake gamer girl alert! Suddenly, that low-cut shirt you're wearing was not a choice you made because you felt good about your bomb-ass cleavage when you woke up this morning. Suddenly, you're a succubus. You're only in it for the attention. Because what real gamer doesn't know that the skeleton hanging by its ankles from the ceiling of the Bjorn ice caves on the island of Solstheim in the Blood Moon expansion of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was obviously a Star Wars reference? Fake geek girls. 3. Be willing to accept the fact that you, yes, you are single-handedly responsible for the degradation of the modern-day gaming industry because you keep demanding better representation for women, even though you already have a diverse selection of skinny, scantily clad, and/or heavily sexualized white women to choose from. If you want a more feminist-friendly game, try the Mass Effect trilogy. It's full of strong female characters. Never mind the fact that the first female villain we're introduced to is presented to us with shots of her ass and tits before we ever see her face. Remember, ladies, female objectification is a myth. 4. Get used to fear. Watch Anita Sarkeesian's videos criticizing misogyny in video games. Watch the death and rape threats roll in. Listen in shock as the people you game with claim Zoe Quinn only received recognition for her free online game because she slept with someone who had nothing to do with the media coverage of her free online game. Hashtag Quinspiracy. Hashtag Gamergate. Hashtag ethics in gaming journalism. Watch women speak up. Watch women have their personal information revealed online. Watch women leave the industry. Start gaming quietly. And make sure to keep your comments offline, because if you don't, you might be next, because after all, you are the one ruining the industry. Remember?
You probably won't like what I have to say, but anyway.
That's fine. All the more reason to say it.
Anyway, I wanted to ask the audience, how many people here who considers themselves anti-feminist or anti-social justice warrior, just a show of hands, like how many of you have ever taken a basic introductory perspectives on gender course? Yeah, that's exactly.
Why would you willingly infect yourself with cancer? So?
Because I think that what you're doing is spreading misinformation about feminism. I think in order to understand feminism, you have to do your homework, and that includes getting a proper education to understand what these issues are that feminists are talking about. The word when I took a class at Cal State San Bernardino, it was called Perspectives on Gender, and it was taught by 3 professors of different disciplines that gave us the humanities, social science, and natural science basis for a lot of these ideas that feminists are talking about. They didn't come up to us over our heads and beat us over the head with the patriarchy or, safe spaces or any of this crap you talk about, which, by the way, I agree with you on a lot of these things. You don't have to accept these things to be a feminist, by the way. And I think that's kind of what you do, is you kind of strawman feminists and think that that's what it's all about when you don't know what you're talking about. Frankly,
I think what we have to do, because feminism is probably the movement in intellectual history has been the least able to consistently, reliably, and define itself. And I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's all women. But it's been the movement that has never been able to agree on a single definition of itself. So what we have to do is just look externally and see, what does it look like? What do they say? What do they do? So I look at the prospectuses of gender studies courses and women's studies courses. I find them wanting. I look at the columns.
But have you actually gone to a class?
I have.
Okay, good.
I was thinking something else.
Well, No, the thing is that I think this whole campus tour, what you're trying to do is sidestep the entire academic process. Your ideas have not passed peer review. You haven't done your scientific research. You haven't even done anything. And you can laugh at me all you want. Go ahead, try to make me into a Trigglypuff.
Could you give an example of something that you've learned in that class that you would
Example.
like?
Let me tell you what I've learned in that class.
Isn't everyone?
We have learned that basically there is a basis in natural science, social science, and humanities for a lot of these issues. And if you understand the underpinnings, when feminists come to you talking about the patriarchy, you're not going to freak out and think it's some big conspiracy. You're going to understand what they mean. So I would encourage everyone in this class to sign up. And if you can't do that, go to my YouTube channel, David underscore YouTube.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid we've been going for a long time and I still haven't heard a decent question.
One more question.
I think we're done, so thank you very much. It's time for you to give the mic to somebody else. Thank you.
I listened to you for over an hour. I listened to you for over an hour. Let's go. Thank you. You're not interested in debate. You just want to push your propaganda. Thank you.
You're promoting your site. You're promoting your YouTube channel. Nobody watches it anyway.
Why do white people have a right to affirm their life?
Because all lives have value.
Really? How so? Why does white life have value?
Well, I think my
for
life
who?
has
No, excuse me. For who? Our argument is that white life is wrong.
Why?
Our argument is that we should never affirm white life. That your argument of just affirming all life in general is not good, especially not good for black people when white life itself is based off of black
supremacy. Why shouldn't we affirm
civilization.
my life?
You're probably white.
I am white. Why shouldn't we affirm my life?
I don't understand why I have to care about your life anyway. There's no ethical reason as to why white people deserve to live. Affirming black life means that white death has to occur. That's why you should lose this debate and why your life ain't worth affirming.
Can I kill myself, like, under your arguments?
Sure.
Okay. So, should Odie kill himself?
I don't see why not.
Why should we do that? How does that help?
It's ethical.
How is it ethical? We all have some form or another of privilege. Why does that mean we should kill ourselves?
Because you have white privilege.
Why does having white privilege necessarily mean I should kill myself? Why shouldn't